said, somebody said, Kandi said that I said it, took shit back. I said, no. Her husband did what he did to me, both of them actually, and she can't sing. I said that.
I don't believe that she's still on you.
I'm not playing games with clowns. Like, I'm not gonna be in the circus with you, sweetheart. Like, we're not doing that ever again.
When will Tamar Braxton realize that talent can only take you so far without a good attitude to back it up? We all know Tamar has been fixated on Kandi Burruss for a long time. She's often dragged Kandi into drama, even when Kandi hasn't said anything about her. Tamar has always hinted that there's more to her issues with Kandi than we know. But if what Jessie Woo is saying is true, Tamar's problems with Kandi might be based on nothing but jealousy. Tamar seems to be envious of the money moves Kandi has been making and is determined to cause trouble for her. However, reports suggest that Kandi is done playing nice with Tamar. In a recent interview, Kandi made it clear that Tamar's constant comments about her come from insecurity, and she's been trying to sabotage Kandi's career ever since Celebrity Big Brother wrapped up.
Love Tamar, but since we've known her, she's been in constant beef with somebody, whether it be her own sisters or her peers in the industry.
When you compare how their careers have developed, it's easy to see why Kandi thinks Tamar is jealous and bitter about her success. Doesn't it feel like Tamar is always in conflict with someone? It's always Tamar arguing with this person, then that person, and now she can't stop talking about Kandi. If I had Tamar's voice, I'd be singing a lot more than talking, because there's no reason for her to be in so much drama. Honestly, not everyone is lying about Tamar, and if she's always the common factor in these conflicts, maybe she's the real problem. Kandi and Tamar's issues didn't just start recently, and it doesn't seem like they're going away anytime soon. The first time we heard about their tension was on Celebrity Big Brother, when Tamar kept saying that Kandi didn't like her for no reason, and was always shady towards her during the escape tour. But from Kandi's perspective, the problem was always with Tamar bringing people backstage who had been rude to Kandi in the past.
My marriage, I was having issues with my career. Things were like all over the place. You personally interjected yourself in the situation by talking crazy about me. But you just should have said nothing.
Okay.
That's on a train.
Okay. So anyway, what I was saying was, on the tour, I personally wasn't even thinking about all the stuff. I thought we was totally moved on for that.
From my perspective, it was totally and utterly disrespectful and unprofessional.
What?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Because you know,
On Big Brother, Kandi took the high road and tried to put their feud to rest. The two shared a very brief moment of reconciliation after the show. In fact, Kandi even invited Tamar to join her dungeon tour.
So happy that we had the opportunity to mend our relationship. For too long, we have just been a roller coaster of emotions between the two of us. A lot of people didn't know that. And I'm just glad we were able.
That brief friendship between Kandi and Tamar didn't last long before it fell apart. Remember when Kandi and TV producer Carlos King had their fallout? Kandi found out that Carlos was trying to release a documentary about their story without her permission, and she was so angry that she publicly called him a thief. Tamar's name wasn't mentioned, but did she show up like Carlos had summoned her? Yep, she definitely did.
They're calling him a thief. You know what I mean? I think that's a little, like off the deep end.
Well, what would you do if somebody tried to do this to you and your sisters? They tried to tell your story without your permission.
Well, okay, so here was the thing. So my sister did her biopic, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody else was involved, but I had nothing to do with my character, and I was in my feelings about that.
Okay.
But everybody else was involved, so that's a different kind of thing. So you really don't want nobody telling your own story.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I just feel like there are all the time unauthorized, like, you know, versions of people's lives. And this.
Didn't Tamar just say she was upset when Tony didn't reach out to her about how she was portrayed in Tony's biopic? Yet, here she is shading Kandi for feeling a certain way. Girl, get it together. If Tamar found out that Carlos, or anyone, for that matter, was trying to tell a story about the Braxtons or her life without permission, she would have gotten off her high horse and chased them down, making their lives miserable until they apologized and dropped the project. So when it came to the situation between Carlos and Kandi, people didn't see it as Tamar defending her friend. It looked more like Tamar was just waiting for an excuse to shade Kandi, and she finally got the chance. Kandi didn't respond, and things went quiet between them until Tamar appeared on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live. There, she claimed that a cast member from The Real Housewives of Atlanta had threatened her, and their husband almost put hands on her.
And it really did happen. I'm not lying. Like, I'm not looking for attention or drama or anything like that.
Right.
But that really did happen. It was not cute. No,
Was she a full housewife?
She's a full house. Oh my God.
Tamar didn't mention Kandi's name, but the day after her appearance on Andy Cohen's show, she couldn't hold it in anymore. She made a post saying, "I left the situation alone, but the fact is Kandi and Todd wanted to fight me, period." There were witnesses, and Junior even came to the next show to confront Todd about it. Neither Tamar nor Todd would address it, though, because how do you defend something like that?
I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not like these other reality people. Like, I'm a real bona fide 5-time Emmy-nominated journalist. Difference. So for me, I am not comfortable publicly saying or calling someone else a liar without knowing the legitimate facts. That's where I'm standing with that. I wasn't on no, you not my friend. I don't want to side with you. It wasn't nothing to being messy, but my responsibility for my job and my integrity, just like...
Kandi shrugged it off by denying that she or Todd ever threatened Tamar. She said Tamar was blowing things out of proportion and that her husband had never approached her in a threatening manner.
The only thing I would say right now is, simply that's not true. My husband never said nothing to her. He did not threaten her or none of that. So that's why I was like, I don't even want to address that on Amazon Live. She and I did have words, but he did. So that's why I was like, yeah. Some people like to twist things a little bit.
But Tamar quickly fired back, saying, "I am the victim when your man steps to a woman. Sounds like a woman to me to see nothing wrong with that. I hope he's not beating you. That's a dangerous accusation to throw around, especially when it involves someone's marriage. In any beef, there's rarely just one side that's fully innocent, but you have to consider the track record of both women. Most of what Kandi has said about Tamar has been in response to Tamar's comments, and other times, Kandi just ignores it and moves on with her day. How many times have you actually heard Kandi beefing with someone? I mean, truly going back and forth multiple times? Kandi stays booked, busy, and most importantly, paid. And according to people who have worked with her, she's generally a great person to be around in a work setting.
Same thing I said about Issa Rae and Amanda Seales. I've worked with both these people. One was insufferable, the other was not. Kandi, when she comes to work, let me tell you something when I did a la carte with Kandi would show up to the makeup chair with her base makeup already. Base, because she didn't want to give the makeup team too much work to do. This is Kandi Burruss. I'm sorry. I will always windmill for Kandi Burruss. When I saw her do that, I was like, oh, the humility. She's always been humble. But the humility. She comes in early. She don't got a big entourage. You don't gotta babysit her, which I've seen with with Tamar. You don't have to babysit her. She comes in, she gives you the least.
Now, as for Tamar girl, she's always working on herself, healing, and trying to better her life. But when are we finally going to see the healed, non-dramatic version of Tamar? She's always in conflict with someone and tries to play the victim every time. That's exactly what she's been doing with Kandi. After she made those claims about Todd threatening her, Tamar has continued to say negative things about Kandi. She's thrown shade at Kandi's singing, even calling her a clown on fire. When Kandi mentioned that the booking fee for her group, Xscape, is 3 times higher than SWV's, Tamar fired back, saying, "Imagine having the biggest ego for the most non-singing person in the entire music industry."
Billy Goat said I can't sing. But for me, I'm looking at it she's an amazing singer, but for you to sing so great and the only time people really want to talk about you is because you beefing with me, then that's a problem. I think you need to be working on promoting your music, not promoting your drama with me.
And now, an old video of Tamar calling Kandi's restaurant Old Lady Gang for having bad food is starting to make its rounds on the internet.
Nobody has yet to say how nasty Old Lady Gang is. And that is a known thing here in Atlanta.
Now, an old video of Tamar calling Kandi's restaurant, Old Lady Gang, out for having bad food is making its rounds on the internet.
All those restaurants, and you can, invite Tamar on to...
You will not be freaking her in my interview.
Nobody is saying, yo, where we going to go eat? Let's go to Old Lady Gang. Who?
Can you believe that she's still on you?
I'm not playing games with clowns. Like, I'm not finna be in the circus with you, sweetheart. Like, we're not doing that ever again.
Love.
Tamar did address the video, saying it was from a while ago. When it was brought up to Kandi in an interview, she refused to comment on it, saying she doesn't play with negativity.
Basically wouldn't be here if I wasn't lied on. And that's my thing. Like, I can deal with anything, but don't lie on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my thing.
As expected, Tamar couldn't let it go. She said her issue with Kandi is because Kandi lied about her, and she can't forgive that.
Even like hair and makeup, when she would bring up Kandi, hair and makeup was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we know she ain't a good person. We know, like, it's like, we know. But she could never give us why Kandi was not a good person. It gives Amanda Seales and Issa Rae. The way that super chat just clocked it gives Amanda Seales and Issa Rae. You know, when you just don't like somebody, you've had awkward interactions with somebody, but it's just not enough for you to just say, you know what? I don't like that person. But you have to go on a media blitz to get everybody not to like that person. Tamar is to Kandi, what Amanda Seales is to Issa Rae.
Jessie Woo, who's worked with both women, admitted backstage at a show that Tamar was always bringing up Kandi's name, calling her a mean person and saying she didn't like her. But when asked what the real issue was, Tamar had nothing to say. Recently, there's been a lot of buzz about Tamar Braxton's ongoing tension with Kandi Burruss. More and more people are starting to notice that Tamar seems to enjoy provoking a reaction from Kandi. The root of this obsession, it seems, lies in how their careers have evolved in very different directions. While Tamar won Celebrity Big Brother and gained attention from her time on the show, Kandi has emerged as a major figure in Hollywood. She's not just a reality TV star, but a successful producer, singer, and entrepreneur with a net worth that keeps growing. Kandi's music career, as well as her ventures like her Broadway show Alo, have put her in a much more prominent position than Tamar in the entertainment industry. Tamar, on the other hand, has made it clear that she believes Kandi is not as talented as she is, particularly when it comes to singing. She's even said in the past that Kandi's vocal ability isn't on par with hers, despite Kandi's success in the industry. But while Tamar continues to make noise, Kandi is busy walking red carpets, making moves, and showing that she's more than just a reality TV star. Tamar, unfortunately, has become more associated with drama than her musical career. At this point, it seems like Tamar's name is better known for stirring up conflicts than for her contributions to music, which, no shade to Tamar, isn't necessarily a flattering reputation. But the most telling part of this feud is how Kandi is reacting, or rather, how she stopped reacting. Kandi is no longer interested in trying to resolve things with Tamar. She's done with the back and forth, especially with someone who constantly tries to drag her name through the mud. Kandi, who has recently been making waves in Hollywood, is now focused on her career as a producer. Her Broadway show, Alo, has been a huge success, and she's using that momentum to take her career to new heights. When it comes to Tamar, Kandi is no longer playing into the drama. She's too busy enjoying her own success to deal with someone who keeps antagonizing her. Now, in a beef, it's rare that one person is completely innocent. But in this case, many people are starting to side with Kandi because Tamar keeps making herself the problem. Tamar continues to go on platforms like The Breakfast Club to talk about Kandi, while Kandi is out there on the red carpet, living her best life. It's clear that some people, like Tamar, are fixated on the wrong things, and instead of focusing on their own success, they're too concerned with tearing others down. The reality is, Kandi didn't do anything to Tamar to deserve this. Ongoing drama. Tamar, it seems, is constantly the one starting these one-sided beefs, especially with women who have more accomplishments and talents than she does. At this point, it feels like Tamar might need to look inward and consider that the real issue is her own insecurities. Constantly starting drama and then playing the victim in every situation isn't a healthy way to live. Maybe it's time for Tamar to seek some professional, but judging by her track record, she'd probably fall out with her therapist, too. So, what do you think? Is Tamar right about Kandi, or is there something we're missing in this whole situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates. I'll see you in the next video.